Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. We are on to the third lecture on equilibrium. I hope you are enjoying the lectures. If you have not completed seeing my previous videos, please do that for better understanding. And in today's session, we'll be discussing about the characteristics of equilibrium constant, that is Kc and Kp. Okay, so the first factor is that Kc and Kp, they are independent of the concentration of the reactants with which we start. Let's take example for better understanding. Suppose I take say N2 plus 3H2 forming 2NH3. You have this equation. You may start with say any number of moles. Say you are taking 1 mole and 1 mole, or you take say 2 mole or 2 mole, or you take here say 2 and 4. Kc will not be affected. Do not think that Kc will be affected. Why? Because even if you take 1 and 1, they are not going to react completely. Whatever ratio is given, that we'll be discussing also in the the numericals. What ratio is given in the stoichiometrically balanced equation, they are going to react in the same amount. So the excess amount will be left over. Whatever you start with, initial concentration, irrespective of that, the Kc value will remain always fixed. Suppose for this particular equation, 1 mole, you have some Kc value, say as some x. The Kc will remain same for all. It will not depend upon how much is the initial concentration of the reactant you're starting with. Okay. Now, the next factor says the value of K, that is equilibrium constant, for a particular reaction is always constant at a particular temperature, or you can say at a given temperature. At a given temperature. Suppose they are saying at one particular temperature, say 298 Kelvin, some K value is known to us. The K value is given as say 4. Okay, so as long as the temperature remains this, at any point of time, the K value will remain the same. It will not change with the change in the concentration. K will remain same throughout the of course, it's not completing. Throughout the reaction, the K value will remain fixed. If you change the temperature, say I change it to 303 Kelvin, then the K value will be different. It will change. What it will be, we cannot say. Just ki at 298 the K value is 4, so at 303 what it is. You are not going to calculate in this manner. Then how are you going to calculate? There is a relation for it. You cannot say by increasing temperature the K value will increase or it will decrease. That depends what type of reaction we are talking about. Now, to understand that, I have written here, suppose we consider two different temperatures T1 and T2. Taking T2 greater than T1. T2 is greater than T1. So what is the relation saying? Log K2 by K1 is equal to delta H. Now what is delta H? Delta H is enthalpy of the reaction. It is enthalpy of the reaction or the heat of the reaction. Okay, divided by 2.303 R. R is universal gas constant into T2 minus T1 divided by T1 T2. Okay, so with this relation we can calculate what will be the equilibrium constant. Say at one temperature, T1 temperature, you know the equilibrium constant is K1. At some other temperature T2, what will be the equilibrium constant? We can calculate using this particular equation. Only thing is we should be knowing what is the enthalpy of the reaction. Okay, now one more very important thing. What is this delta H? That is going to also decide how are K and temperature related. For example, if delta H is 0, that means there is no change in the enthalpy of the reaction. Then if this part is 0, delta H is 0, means this whole term becomes 0. So we can say log K2 by K1 is equal to 0. Yes, so we can also say that K1 is K2 because this log, it is log to the base 10, right? That we are saying. So we can have this K2 by K1 is equal to 1. When K2 by K1 is equal to 1, because that log 0 is 1, right? So we can have that K2 by K1 is equal to 1. So K1 is equal to K2, right? So what you will have is, that means we can say K is constant. K1 is equal to K2 means K is constant. So whether you increase the temperature or you decrease the temperature, the K will not change in that. If delta H is 0, there is no change in the enthalpy of the reaction, then K remains constant. Whether you increase the temperature or you decrease the temperature, the equilibrium constant value will not change. This is very, very important. Please mark. Very important from competitive exam point of view. Okay, please note it down. Now, I have kept all these three, in a same frame. One, when delta H is 0, this I have considered. Another I have taken when delta H is negative. Third I have taken when delta H is positive. So when delta H is negative, then delta H is negative means we can also say delta H is less than 0. Or we can say we are talking about exothermic reactions, right? So what will be in that formula which I gave you? Log K2 by K1 will be less than 0. Yes, it will be less than 0 means you will have K1 greater than K2. Yes, K1 greater than K2, that means this will be the relation. We are considering that this is more. Okay, so by increasing temperature, the K equilibrium constant decreases. And by decreasing temperature, equilibrium constant will increase. That means for exothermic reactions, you have equilibrium constant and temperature inversely proportional. Inversely proportional. You increase the temperature, equilibrium constant will decrease, right? And by decreasing the equilibrium constant, temperature, when you temperature and these are inversely proportional. Okay, so when you are increasing this is decreasing. When you decrease it, K will increase. Fine. The next thing is if delta H is positive, then means it's endothermic reaction we are talking about. If it is endothermic means we can represent delta H is greater than 0 also. It's endothermic reaction. Log K2 by K1 is greater than 0. That means we can say K2 is greater than K1 here. So in such cases, you will have both directly proportional. That means by increasing the temperature, equilibrium constant also increases. Yes, so we can say Kc and temperature are directly proportional. Clear? So I've kept all three in the same frame. That is, where delta H is 0, K is independent of temperature. If it's exo, it's inversely. If it is endo, it is directly. This is the second factor which we have discussed. Factors affecting equilibrium constant. Now moving on to the next characteristic of equilibrium constant. It says if the reaction is reversed, the value of the K is also reversed. Okay, if the reaction is reversed, the value of K is inversed. For example, if I say the same equation, if I am taking say N2 plus 3H2 forming 2NH3. Okay, for this you have the equilibrium constant known. Say the equilibrium constant for this value is given to you as say 4. Now I reverse this equation, inverse this equation. Inverse this equation means I start with this now. For me, this is the reactant and my N2, H2 are the products. Then what will be the Kc value for it? Kc value will be 1 by. It will be reverse of it. Inverse of it. How you can write down yourself the Kc expression for it? How do you write the Kc expression for this one? Kc is equal to concentration of the product. Kc is equal to concentration of the product to the power of the coefficients divided by concentration of N2 into concentration of H2 to the power 3. Right? What is the Kc expression for the second one? For the second one, what will be the Kc expression? Kc is equal to concentration of N2 into concentration of H2 to the power 3 divided by concentration of ammonia to the power 2. It's inverse of it. You can check it. Okay. So that is why we say. Next one. If the equation with the equilibrium constant, say K, is divided by 2, then the equilibrium constant for the new equation is the square root of the first K. For example, again I am taking the same expression. Say you have N2 plus 3H2 forming 2NH3. Right? For this we know the equilibrium constant, say value is K given. Now I am dividing this whole equation by 2. If I divide this whole equation by 2, let me divide this side, it will be N2 half N2 plus 3 by 2 H2. What will it form? NH3. What will be the equilibrium constant for this one now? If this is K, the new K dash, we can say K dash will, because I have halved everything, this will be now K to the power half, or we can say it is root K. Equilibrium constant will be root of the original K. That means in case you divide this equation like this, you write down like this, say N2 plus, instead of writing 1 by 2, if I write say 1 by N, we don't know what it is, 3 by N, right? And instead of this 2 by N, with some number I have divided, maybe 3, 4, whatever it is. So what will be the new Kc double dash? Generally we can write K to the power 1 by N. Okay, this is one general formula I have written. Please make note of it. Right? It's very, very important. Moving on to the next question. These are very important, children. Please do this very well. If the equation with the equilibrium constant K is multiplied by 2, then what will be the new equilibrium constant? Okay. Suppose I am saying, H2 plus I2 forming 2HI, right? You have this equation. And I write down one more equation, say half H2 plus half I2 forming HI. Okay, say this is my original equation and I know the equilibrium constant for this is K. What will be the equilibrium constant for the new one? This is new one, say this is the previous original one, this is the new one. So what it is, with this reference, if you are considering, with this reference we have doubled it. So it will be K, original K to the power 2. As many times you do it, as many times, you make it 3 times, 4 times, whatever. What will be the general formula? The equilibrium constant, new equilibrium constant, that is K dash, will be always equal to K to the power N. You make it 3 times, it will be to the power 3. 4 times to the power 4, and so on. Right? Okay. Moving on to the next characteristic. If the equation with the equilibrium constant K is written in 2 steps and the individual steps ka K is given as K1 and K2, then K1 into K, K2 will be equal to K. Maybe you did not understand anything. We will explain it. Suppose you have say N2 plus O2 form NO. If I write half NO, half N2 plus half O2 form NO. This is my first step. And in my second step, I am writing like this, say NO plus O2, again half O2, it is forming NO2. In a way, I am burning nitrogen in the presence of oxygen. Initially, nitrogen will not burn completely, so it will be partial combustion, it will form nitric oxide, NO, and that nitric oxide further may burn in the presence of excess of oxygen and may form NO2. Finally, when I add up the two equations, I can cancel out this NO, right? And what will be my final equation? You can see it will be half plus half and half will become O2, and this will be NO2. Suppose this is my final step. If the equation with the equilibrium constant K, that means this, suppose this is K, is written in two steps with the individual K1 and K2. Then, how are they related? They are related like this. K is equal to K1 into K2. That means the final equilibrium constant for the final equation which you are getting, for that equilibrium constant is the product of the first two equilibrium constants. Is this clear? This is very, very important. Okay, now let me discuss some questions. Now suppose I have given you one question like this, H2 plus I2 forming 2HI. For this the equilibrium constant is 49. I have written this equation now. What will be the equilibrium constant for this one? Just pause it and write down the answer. What it will be? Written. Now I am solving, just say. First thing, HI was the product, here HI is the reactant. So we have reversed it. When you reverse it, it has to be 1 by 49. That is inverse of the original equilibrium constant. Secondly, you see that this is 2, this is 1. That means we have made half. When you made half, it should be this to the power half. That means we can also say it is 1 by root 49. So what is the answer for this? 1 by 7. Is this clear? These type of many such questions can be framed where they half it, they double it, they make it 3 times, they reverse it. What will be the equilibrium constant? Now the next question. Suppose you have some question like this. Ag plus, it's an ion, plus 1 ammonia. It forms AgNH3 plus. For that equilibrium constant is given 3.5 10 to the power minus 3. This product plus one more ammonia forms this product. AgNH3 taken twice plus K2 value is given. Find the formation constant of this. Formation constant means what are they actually asking you? This silver ion plus 2NH3 and it has formed AgNH3 taken twice plus. That means they are asking this one. What is the equilibrium constant for this they are asking? Just now we have done by adding up the two equations. By adding only you are getting this, because when you add this and this will get cancelled. So Ag plus 2 ammonia, they are forming this only. So that what will be the equilibrium constant? Final one, the product of this two. Okay, so what you will do, it is 1.7 and multiplied by 3.5. This is 10 to the power minus 3 into minus 3. That means it will be 10 to the power minus 6. So this you can multiply yourself and write down the answer. Is this point clear? Now one more important characteristic, that value of the equilibrium constant is not affected by addition of catalyst, because the catalyst will only help in achieving the equilibrium faster, and it affects both forward reaction as if this is increasing, obviously the backward also will increase. So because this is increasing both, and this is affecting both with the equal rate, that is why this is Kc never gets affected by the catalyst. Okay, it will always be fixed. And now the last important thing is units of Kp and Kc. Units of Kc and Kp. Now, how do you write the units of Kp and Kc? See, I will again take one equation and write N2 plus 3H2 forming 2NH3. We have written just now what is the Kc expression for it. Ammonia concentration to the power 2 by N2 concentration into H2 concentration to the power 3. In terms of Kp, if you have to write down, we write down partial pressure of ammonia to the power 2 by partial pressure of N2 into partial pressure of H2 to the power 3. This is what we write. Okay, so you cannot generalize and say Kc means mole per liter, Kp means atmosphere. You can check how many coefficients are there. So that means the number of the moles of the gaseous products and the reactants also will affect the Kp Kc value. So how many, these are all gases of course in this case. So how many gases are there in the product side? 2, and in the reactant side 4. So general formula I am telling you for Kc, the formula is unit of Kc is mole per liter to the power delta Ng. Ng I am writing means number of the moles of gaseous products minus gaseous reactants. So how many gaseous products are there? 2. 2 minus 4. That means for this particular case, the formula, the unit will be moles per liter to the power minus 2. So each Kc will have a different unit. I mean, each expression will have a different unit. Whatever equation you are considering, you cannot generalize the Kc and Kp unit. That depends upon what equation we have considered. Same way for Kp, what is the general formula? Kp is equal to atmosphere to the power delta Ng. That means in this particular case, it will be atmosphere to the power minus 2. I'll write down 2-3 equations. Now let's take these 3 examples and write down their Kc, Kp units. All are gases. I have not written all gases products, all reactants products are gases. Now just take this into consideration. Kc unit will be delta N is 2 and 2 this side 0. So that means Kc is equal to mole per liter to the power 0. That means 1, no unit. In this particular case, there is no unit for Kc. So if no unit for Kc, of course Kp also will have no unit in this case. Now in these 2 products, how many reactants? 2 plus 1, 3. So what will be the unit? Kc unit will be equal to moles per liter to the power minus 1. And in the Kp unit will be equal to atmosphere to the power minus 1. In this 2 products, 1 reactant. That means it will be delta N is equal to 1. So the unit for this will be moles per liter to the power 1. Or Kp unit will be equal to atmosphere to the power 1. Followed? So please practice this, do this properly. Characteristics, very, very important. This chapter actually is very important for school as well as for the competitive point of view. Okay, so do it well and share the video with your friends, and if you like it, please put it in the comment section. Thank you for watching.